points for the Falcons. However, Neil, you are also going with the upset in this one.
Yeah, I just have a feeling that the Falcons may be done.
That would be a shame. That would be a real shame.
The
New England Patriots are at the Buffalo Bills. Both teams are undefeated. This is a game that will be featured in our Superfan Battles of the Week coming to you tomorrow. Patriots are second in the power rankings. The Bills are 15th. Patriots favored by 7 in this game. New England, the first team to not allow a passing or rushing touchdown in each of their first 3 games of a season in the Super Bowl era. Additionally, they are the first team to hold opponents scoreless in the first half of 5 consecutive games, including the postseason, the longest such streak in the Super Bowl era. Just to give Buffalo fans something to talk about, Frank Gore has rushed for 14,912 yards over his 15-year NFL career. He only needs 88 against the Patriots to become the 4th player in league history to reach 15,000 career rushing yards. The other 3 players are all enshrined in the Pro Football Hall of Fame: Emmitt Smith, Walter Payton, Barry Sanders. Is Frank Gore a Hall of Famer? Because we're all taking the Patriots.
Yes, but not first ballot. He'll get in eventually, I think, yeah.
Eventually, yes. I don't know about first ballot.
No, not first ballot.
I unfortunately have to agree. I mean, if the bus is in, if Curtis Martin is in, Frank Gore, I don't think Frank Gore is necessarily a Hall of Famer. I think he's had a nice career, but I wouldn't put him in the Hall of Fame. But like I just said, Jerome Bettis is in, Curtis Martin is in. Those guys, he's got to be in. So,
yeah,
congratulations, Frank Gore. You've survived long enough in the NFL to make it to the Hall of Fame. I have said, and I think Vegas sort of agrees with only a 7-point spread, that while the Patriots shouldn't have a problem with the Bills, I would not be surprised if the Bills were to sort of punch the Patriots in the mouth and actually Patriots being behind at some point in this game.
Well, Jay, you've it's been a tough week to be a New England fan. I mean, you've lost Antonio Brown. You've gone from being Super Bowl favorites to being Super Bowl favorites. Must be hard.
It really is. And they signed Cody Kessler, which is also an interesting move.
And you got a glimpse of the future last week when Stidham came in and demonstrated his amazing skill set.
Yes, throwing touchdowns to the other team. It's a great ability.
My concern here, though, Jay. Sorry, my concern here in this game is that Buffalo have also now just lost Phillips, the defensive tackle, who I think is a really good quality player in the rotation, and I don't think the Bills will be able to stop you long enough for them to put enough points on the board here.
Yeah, that's not the only player they've lost. Corey Thompson, linebacker, will be out for this game as he undergoes ankle surgery. Tre'Davious White is listed as questionable, so is wide receiver Zay Jones with a non-contact injury that he sustained in practice on Wednesday. Tight end Tyler Kroft, running back Devin Singletary also show up on the injury report. For the Patriots, tight ends Ryan Izzo and Matt Lacoste show up in the injury report. Rex Burkhead is listed with a foot injury. He was limited in practice. Edelman has chest and rib injuries that limited him. Michael Bennett is also on the injury report, and some guy named Brady with a calf was limited on Wednesday. Pod, who is this Brady guy?
Yeah, he's been around for a while. He's been kicking it. He was a 6th-round draft pick.
Mm-hmm. Dante Hightower also has a shoulder injury that has him questionable to return for Sunday's game as well.
As long as there's no more babies from Patriot players, my gosh. And by the way, apparently that's the new thing too, to not be at the game because of the birth of a baby. We'll get to that in a moment. Browns are at the Ravens. Browns are 19th in the power rankings. The Ravens are 6th. How did the Ravens fall? That's what I want to know. That's interesting.
I think it's probably Chiefs. Yeah, probably because
they had to go up.
They didn't just lose to the Chiefs. They also had 2 or 3 incredible plays there that were very randomly successful. I think if they hadn't happened, then they would have got absolutely slaughtered in this game. In that game, they were lucky.
Well, the Ravens are favored by 7. These two quarterbacks are almost exactly the same. But if I told you in the preseason, one of them would have been 62 of 109 for 805 yards, 3 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. The other one would be 63 of 100 for 863 yards, 7 touchdowns, no interceptions. Which one would you say is Baker and which one would you say is Lamar?
The way the stats have played out so far. But I'm biased. So that's
in the preseason, you would have said the guy with the interceptions is Lamar and Baker has none. But
I would definitely think Baker would have had the interceptions.
No, you wouldn't have, James.
Actually, I would have. Yeah. Remember, I'm biased. Right. Again, I own my bias. Yes, I would have said Lamar would have had the better stats. Absolutely.
Well, anyway, that is exactly what the Browns' problem is right now. The on-paper offense isn't clicking. Baker is slumping. Lamar is jumping, and he did have an incredible touchdown run against the Chiefs there late in the game. I'll take the Ravens. I'm not going to give them 7. I'm not giving the Browns 7 points, though. This game should be close. And we're all actually taking the Ravens in this particular game.
This will be the game where Odell Beckham Jr. does something weird with a piece of equipment on the sideline. Because I tell you, he is close. He is close. Is he going to have some sort of shouting match with Kitchens? Someone's going to go crazy because that team is teetering on the edge to meltdown. And I think Kitchens is not for long in this job.
Wow. That's a prediction.
Yeah. Let me hit the injuries real quick before you drag on even more about nonsense.
Can I just, James, before you go on, James, I just say I base that on the fact that when you watch Baker Mayfield play, he's not playing like a quarterback who's being coached by somebody he respects. And I think if you look at Mahomes, you can see Mahomes, he plays within himself a lot of the time and doesn't do those stupid, crazy, do what he likes plays because he respects Reed and he knows the Reed's in charge there. I think Mayfield thinks he's in charge in Cleveland and he does what he bloody well likes out in that field, and that's not going to work for any quarterback in this league.
Neil, you almost made me want to take that soundbite and put it at the beginning of the show instead of our usual nonsense. How dare you say something rather intelligent?
No, every now and again, Jay, every now and again, 1 week out of 16, the universe will collide with itself and I'll say something intelligent.
James, hit us with the injuries and then we'll move on to the next one.
For the Ravens, Jimmy Smith is out. Cornerback Marlon Humphrey has a hip injury, and tight end Mark Andrews has a foot injury. He didn't practice on Wednesday. For the Browns, let's see here. We have Cedric Redwine, safety, questionable. Darius Taylor, linebacker, has an ankle injury. Rashard Higgins.
Cedric Redwine.
Injury. Yeah.
You're making this up.
I'm not making this up. Safety Morgan Burnett has a quad injury. He didn't participate in practice. Greedy Williams, corner, has a hamstring injury. He also didn't practice on Wednesday. Cornerback Denzel Ward, the entire secondary of the Browns is banged up. He, too, has a hamstring, didn't practice. Tight end David Njoku has a wrist injury and is still in concussion protocol. He was put on injury reserve. He will not have surgery on his broken wrist.
All right. The Kansas City Chiefs are number 1 in our power rankings. The undefeated Detroit Lions move up to 17 in the power rankings.
What was wrong with Cedric Redwine? Was he corked?
Oh, gosh. Jay, continue. I'm ignoring Neil.
The spread in this one is 6.5. The Kansas City Chiefs are road favorites. Patrick Mahomes, who passed for 378 yards and 3 touchdowns, no interceptions in week 1, 443 yards and 4 touchdowns, no interceptions in week 2, is the first player to record at least 350 passing yards, 3 touchdown passes, no interceptions in 3 consecutive games in NFL history. Through 20 career games, Mahomes has the highest marks by a quarterback in passing yards, passing touchdowns, and passer rating with a minimum of 100 attempts in NFL history. Patrick Mahomes is going to be a Hall of Famer, which is rather disheartening, and I really got to...
Whoa. Hold on.
Okay.
I mean, just to put somebody in the Hall of Fame after what, one season starting and 3 games? Yeah, give me a break.
4 games.
Neil, have you not heard the stats that I just listed off? No one has ever done this before.
Yeah, but I would just refer you back to the answer I gave previously, which was about the NFL changing and the offensive passing league developing even further. Now, I'm not taking away from Mahomes. He looks like he's going to be a great, great player. But let's just hang fire on the gold jacket for a few more years. He could get injured next year and never be the same player again. Then he's not getting into the Hall of Fame. So just, like Troy Aikman said, yeah, slap your rings on the table.
Maybe Mahomes can be in the next commercial and hold Brady's rings. Interesting that the last time these two teams met, November 2015 in London, the Chiefs blew out the Lions 45-10. And the last time these teams met at Ford Field, the Lions blew out the Chiefs 48-3 in September of 2011. I don't see a blowout either way, but I also can't see the Lions maintaining their undefeated status here. I will take the Chiefs, as will Neil and James. What are the injuries, James?
Cornerbacks for the Lions, Rashard Melvin and Darius Slay, were limited in practice, knee and hamstring respectively. Danny Amendola did not practice due to a chest injury. Mike Daniels nursing a foot injury and did not participate in practice. For the Chiefs, running backs, LaShawn McCoy, ankle, Damian Williams, knee, each was limited in practice. McCoy was limited. Williams didn't practice. For those of you waiting for Tyreek Hill to play, he is still listed as out, and tackle Eric Fisher is also out. Sports hernia surgery went well.
Was Hill ever put on IR?
No.
Hill is not on IR. They're going week to week with his injury.
Mm-hmm.
This is also a game that will be featured in our Superfan Battles coming out for you tomorrow, as is this next game. The Oakland Raiders.
I'm not surprised because Nick just will not shut up about these bloody Kansas City Chiefs.
Well, Monty,
if you're listening, Nick, put a sock in it.
Monty wants to shut up about the Oakland Raiders, and I won't let him, as they travel to Indianapolis to take on the Colts. The Colts are only 16th in our power rankings. The Raiders are 24th. Colts favored by 7. When these two teams met last year, it was a blowout win for the Colts, 42-28. I don't see them running away like that in this one, but Brissett will still lead them to victory, and I think 7 points is spot on for the point spread. James is also going with the Colts, but Neil, you like the Raiders to actually pull off the upset in this one.
Yeah, I like the Raiders here, and mainly because I understand I have a Raiders insider, and he told me that the Indianapolis Colts have quite the injury list, James.
And so do the Oakland Raiders. I'll get to that shortly. You can continue.
Well, I think that's my main. I think there's a lot of players out for Indianapolis. I'm not a Jacoby Brissett fan, and I think these two teams are probably quite evenly matched. But I think they've shown a bit of fight, the Raiders, and I don't think they're as bad as as many people would have them to be. So, yeah, give me this a very close game, but I think the injuries will just tip it in the favor of the Oakland Raiders.
Well, I would agree with you, Neil, and that's one of the reasons why I asked for it to be a spotlight game for our Superfan Battles, because I do think it's actually going to be a game. Now, whether or not it's a good game or is a totally different question, but I do think it's going to be close. I think this is one of those games, one of those 25% games that will come down to the fourth quarter, and the Colts may actually end up winning this by 7, but it's one that you're going to have to watch all the way to the end.
Yeah, I don't see it being close. The Raiders pretty much have fallen behind and pretty much been lifeless on the field when they get down more than 10 points. So unless this game is close early and they keep it close through the course of the game, if they fall behind by 10, just call it a wrap. because they struggle to stay in games. Even the one game they won this season, they struggled just to hold on to that lead. So this team